Right. Hello. So we're back with our AI agents. I actually had a huge ass bug yesterday. That's why it wasn't working. Um, when creating the generating the prompt, it wasn't actually giving the last state um, to the. So when it was like, where is the thing? So when it was generating this prompt, this was always undefined, which is like, how the hell should it could it understand anything? So I fixed that, and now it's way more reliable. And I added like a UX agent, UX engineer. But we're gonna make some small changes, and we're gonna try something cool. I have an idea. So first, we're gonna change. This isn't a big thing. We're gonna change name to role. I think that's more of a common terminology. And then we'll say, oh, no, I messed it up. Do I have name? Oh yeah. So T role. That's F name. And name anywhere else. Role name. This would be role name. Do I have name anywhere else? There we have it. We also have name on the function, so this actually helps a little bit. Oh, name. That's a function name. K in T role. Yeah, let's use role here as well. Name agent. Yeah, so let's rename agent role. Agent as T and role. Role. That's function calls. Oh, here we have a role. Ugh. Agent name. Now we can rather call this role. Where did I have agent name here? Yeah, so we'll call this role instead. Where's the errors? I regret this already. Function call name, handle function call. Yeah, that's the function name. Function name, function name, function name. This would be role. And this should be role. Oh, interesting. I think we need to change this as well. So it's like from role, from to. We're gonna change that as well. We still have some errors there. That's role. I'm probably gonna have issues with this. God damn it. Yeah, I'm perfectly sure we're gonna have function called role. I think I'm gonna rename this to agent. Oh, function call. Okay, let's call it role. Cool, and then agent role. Agent role. Nice. So probably gonna have some errors here. But we'll figure that out as we go. And then I wanted to change the message so that we don't have, we rather have from and to. So Yeah, I think we're gonna say we always fill this out, but it could also be the user. Well, do we really know that? I don't think we really know that. So what I mean is that if we send something to an agent, we know it's to an agent, and we also know who it's from. But if an agent responds, it doesn't know if it's to, for example, the agent that asked, or so when you're from, you have the prompt. So you're in the prompt, you're saying who this is from. But on the response, well, I'm not saying from is more like, so we have a method called prompt, and then it's from the user, and then we have prompt agent, and then it's from, yeah, how does this work? Prompt agent, how does this actually work? So this is a role. Yeah, so when we're saying prompt agent, we're saying from agent, but the current agent can be stale. Like it could come from the user. No, because the user will always. So the only ones that calls prompt agent are the agents. The user just calls prompt. So when you prompt, we fill in from user to agent. And then when an agent responds, oh, wait, I'm thinking about this the wrong way. It's not like, wait a minute. From to, it's never to a user. It just responds to whoever is asking. So we're using this to indicate which agent it is. But shouldn't it always be? No, because the agent, of course, creates a new message, which is from that role and then to someone. So I think, okay, so if I have a message from a user, from user to agent, then there's a new message, which is like the response. And I think, no, let's just make it optional for now. And let's call it from to. Last message. So role, that was the old from. And then from to from, and then from to from. Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, I think we're gonna make sure that this actually works before we do the really cool thing I wanted to do. Let's see. So this is content call role. Oh, did I already break it? Never. content.agent. Engineer. Oh, this is because we don't actually have an engineer that's doing this kind of stuff. Oh, this is yeah, because I'm not handling this right now. So the thing is, these messages just gets more and more complex, or it depends on how I want to do it. Because now we have this hard-coded user story workflow, but you should be able to have different workflows. And should these workflows be like one long message thread, we'll need to create like a workflow type to the messages, so that it knows what agents are to be included and typed within that workflow. Or should it be you can only have one workflow active at any time? I don't know yet. But currently we do not actually have any specific things happening with this. Does this work? Yeah. And it's more down here. So this is from. So if it's from the user, message from. And then it's to, if it's to anyone specific. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's try this, see if it works. And let's just use my default prompt here. I would like an application. Oh, interesting. Immediately it gives the yeah, sometimes it uses Markdown. Maybe it's kind of funny how like we have this very specific prompt that it should not output response as JSON with no extraneous, is that how we pronounce it? Text or wrappers. With no Markdown. I think I'm gonna be specific about Markdown, because that's exactly what it's doing. So now we have the suggested user stories. This looks great. It should be, hopefully it works. User stories will be passed to an engineer. Oh, did I have an error in my workflow? What was the status? Oh, we got an error. Yeah, name is not defined. Where the hell do I have name? Agent flow. Get agent. Oh, how did I miss that one? Prompt agent. Oh, I should rename this prompt agent. Oh, yeah, because name is this weird global variable, at least in terms of typing. I'm not sure why that is. But regardless of like me having this like insane bug, I can't like, oh fuck. It's kind of weird that, yeah, and it's really hard to debug these AIs because they are unpredictable. They give different responses every time, and like what is an actual programming bug and what is just a model not doing meeting your expectations it's interesting. But anyways, iterating on this, I was using a Boolean to define the state of approval. And even when I fixed the bug, using a Boolean didn't work very well. So using enums instead of Booleans, I think that's like a rule of thumb. By the way, I'm going to try something. I'm going to put... I have a tendency to like look at myself for some reason. I think it's to check where my face is. So I'm going to put myself like up here. Like up here instead, so that I rather check myself looking at the camera instead of like down in the corner. It's kind of weird that I do that. Or maybe I could like put it up here or something. Oh, that's also weird. Let's put it here. This looks good. So, no, fuck, it didn't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it did pass it to the engineer. Sorry. So now it passed it to the engineer that updated with like task input field and stuff. And then it passed it to the UX engineer. So we still have, I want to write a task, but now with input field. And the UX engineer now added like a limit of 100 characters and supports real-time validation feedback with Tailwind CSS classes for, like, I've just made some very simple prompts there. So we can definitely iterate on this, but it's really cool to see how it went from basically just consuming my suggestion. Like GPT-4 will actually make these better, but that's the thing here. Like, how much does things improve when we create this team of agents? So we went from this very simple thing with like identifying character limits, identifying error and success states, blah, blah, blah. I guess this didn't, what did it technically add? Oh, sorry, it did add character limit as like, yeah, exactly. So anyways, we're going to work on those prompts. But before we do that, we're going to do something interesting, because now these user stories is state, but now I'm populating the actual text response with those user stories, but we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to give it the text response, and then we're going to pass the state to the message itself down to the UI. And then the UI is responsible for creating the list of user stories. And what we can do, and this is really cool, by having this concept of a stateful agent and exposing the state with the response, we can create user interfaces. So instead of having like a list, we're going to have checkboxes. So what you should be able to do is like, okay, you can tick off user stories and then click update. And what happens under the hood is that it just prompts the agent that these are the user stories I want. So it's kind of like you're prompting by interacting with the UI. And I think that it's just, I'm not saying that's like a valuable interaction, but it's just really cool to see. And all of this is just exploring things we can do. So that's what we're going to do. And to do that, let's first expose the state on the messages. So we're going into typing hell again. But now we have the role, we have agent here. Maybe this isn't as bad as I thought. So status is pending or completed. And this is function call. So it would be the text. So what I think we need here is, so these are function calls. They have nothing to do with oh yeah, sorry. So it shouldn't be part of content at all. It should actually be, does the pending resolved Okay, this is going to be interesting. So currently I'm iterating the roles to build up the content. But what I thought we would do is add on status resolved, we're going to add state. But that's only given if the message is from an agent. What I could also do is when we go through the content, don't I have content type for a user? So here I'm saying, how does that work? How do I do that? Agent for chat panel. How do I handle the content from a user? This is new chat. So I'm going through the messages, just passing in the oops, chat item, chat content. That's chat content. Where's chat message? Here's chat message. And then I'm checking blah, blah, blah. And then I'm checking 2. And then I'm going through the message content length. And I'm iterating. So I'm actually just passing in content item. But content item never has, like in terms of typing. But maybe we don't actually use. So content dot if content dot. Oh, why? Oh, sorry. It's at the top. I do the text. If it's. Oh, yeah, because I don't really look at. So what's weird here is that you kind of have content dot agent, but it might not be an agent. It can be the user. So this is kind of wrong. How should we approach this? I think maybe we're gonna try to create a new. Oops. New message. And it still does this. But it's gonna be. I think we're just gonna iterate every agent. And then we'll, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So, but the thing is, you also have a user. Let's define the user first. So, okay, so you have status pending. That's fine. Or status rejected, which has an error. But also you have resolved, which should contain the state. So we can't make that a generic. And then this is going to be and. Yeah, and from user. Yeah, from user to T role, like it has to be to. If it's from a user, it has to be to an agent. So that's fine. And then the content is actually just this. And it's not even an array, it's just this. And it's never pending or anything. So you can say this is string. But that's kind of weird, right? Now you have pending and rejected. Like it can actually never be. Okay, so let's drop that. We're gonna just say this is when it's from a user, it's always to an agent and it's always string content. But then we have a different kind of message. Let's call it user message. And then we have export type agent message. And this is way more complicated. And here it makes a lot of sense for us to just go through all the agents, which is like k in t role. And then we do a t role. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just gonna check something. Okay. It's kind of I created this new type of video today. Like I'm a dad, and I make all these reflections all the time, and I started writing them down. And then I thought, and like it's really, really rough being a parent, and I thought maybe there was some kind of format where people feel more together in that rough stuff, and not like scientifically or anything like that. It's just from one parent to another. Like this stuff is rough, but here are my reflections. Just something you can identify with that's like positively loaded instead of educational or yeah, I don't know. So I created this on age and maturity. Yeah, so we'll see if something comes out of it. Yeah, it's not like I'm not like trying to be like a YouTuber. Like I do these streams because I work better when I talk through it, and I don't have any person that would enjoy just sitting next to me and listening to me. So that's why I do that. And the dad thing is just to make sure that I don't forget about this phase in my life, because we will forget all the rough stuff with the kids. I don't know. I guess I do crave like validation. It's part of it. Like everyone has this. Someone gives you like a thumbs up and you feel great. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. Anyways, let's go back to coding. So we're going through every role, and every role has a message of pending or resolved. And now we can insert the state. So the state here is T and role K state, but it's not that state, it's the actual state, the resolved state. or it can be rejected. I don't actually handle this, but it can be rejected. There might be an error. So these are like the general things. And these should have parentheses around them, because now we get into the actual thing. So it is from. So it will always be from K. So this is this specific agent's message. From K. I wonder how this is going to work. From K. Always from K to T role or user. I think that makes sense now. There's some usage on this, and that usage is only there when it's actually resolved. So we can actually do that as well. That's usage. And then we have content. Content would now be an array of basically this stuff. Let's just copy that. So it's either, where did it go? So we don't need agent here anymore. It's type text. The text, is it pending or is it completed? That's necessary. And again, we don't need the agent here. So it's a function call, and we're using the K here. That should be fine. So I wonder how it will be like iterating this, because we need to check. One thing that's a problem here is now we're making so in the UI we would be switching on from, like we would check who it's from, who it's from, and then we would, if it's a user, there's one typing, and then when it's an agent, it's a different typing. But now we would have to like, I don't think this quite makes sense, because now we would have to switch on the agent type to get content and infer the function calls. Well, previously we could just iterate the content, and then we would check for each function call the agent, and then produce the right. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? So maybe we don't really check. No, because we're passing the message into chat message. And it would be the same, right? Because here a content agent. We just pass in the message here. And then we could check message from user. And then we'll just return the text. Or we would do a message Oh, because that's new, right? We actually set, yeah, from, yeah. Or we could check switch here. Instead of content.agent, we would do message.from. And then we, yeah, that's the difference here. Like this is the individual chat content items. But now we kind of can't do that anymore because we need to pass in message. But message is quite big already, isn't it? Is it? Like, where's message? Chat message? Yeah, well, we can still call it content. And then we pass in the message, and then we do this check here for message from to get the correct typing. We'll we'll need to iterate. Yeah, so basically instead of like a child, we have children. So what we're gonna do is we switch on the message from, and if it's an engineer, we would then just map over the content and then return either markdown if it's text, or we can check the content type. Yeah, okay, we're gonna go ahead with this. And then on top of that, we would later need like a flow. Well, this is very complicated, but this is complicated. It kind of has to be. Okay, so we have the content, type text, string, function call. Are we happy about this? It doesn't need anything else, does it? No. So let's see now. Let's we're gonna keep this comment just commented out. All this work just to get some checkboxes. Can imagine. So message should now be user message T or agent message T. Whoa. Why doesn't it have status? Oh, okay. Okay, so this is interesting. I think this can resolve itself quite quickly. So if last message, oh, this is interesting. So handle completed doesn't happen with user messages, but we're putting them into the same array. So we kind of need to state that last message. What's interesting here though is that I would kind of expect this check. So when it's not an actual agent role. Oh, current agent. Why are you failing me? Oh, it can be any. Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting. Like when I work with APIs and consume it at the same time, I forget that when I consume it, I have the typing because I'm actually using the generics. But internally, I don't have any typing because it's just generics and I forget. So I can get stuck in that actually. Anyways, so maybe what we could rather do here is if last message dot from equals user, what happens now? No, it still ain't able to. I was hoping the from would act as a. I find that a little bit weird because we're saying now. user message from user. Oh, wait, all of these should be from to. Those are, okay, these are, should always be there. Oh, but they are, right? Yeah, sorry, they are. Yeah, I don't quite understand this. Why doesn't it identify this as... Why does it still think it's a user message when I'm saying if it's from the user? Now it can only be from T-roll. Why doesn't it understand that? That sucks. So I'm just gonna try something. Type user type agent. So what if we now check if that works? Okay. That kind of sucks though, but I guess it's fine. So type user is always from user. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So handle completed. Cannot handle completed message for a user. And if it's the wrong agent, before resolving last message. Okay, so now this is happy. So what's missing here is the state, JSON state. What's missing here? Type agent message. What's the actual error here? It's not assignable to status resolved. Yeah, maybe. Like this might be too complicated typing for this spreading to understand. Like this is exceptionally complicated typing, but user experience or DX is amazing on this. So I do a lot of tsignore in my library code because it just doesn't understand. It just doesn't understand. If yeah, so we need to do the same here. So if last message type equals user, that's an invalid state. But what was the actual error here? Yeah, I think we can do that. But we can also say if last message user throw new error cannot handle message done for a user. Then we have last content type. Why is that a problem? Why do you have a problem with that? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, yeah, sorry. So last content is something we put here. Yeah. So now we only have those kinds of things. Now it's not very happy. Oh, it can't be resolved yet. It's still pending because it needs it isn't actually completed yet. It's not completed until we call handle completed. Yeah, but I think we have the same issue here as tsignore as above, which is fine. So we'll need to do the same thing here. If last message type equals user, we're going to throw a new error of cannot not add message delta for a user. And then we have last content, blah, 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 tsignore, and the same thing here. I think everything's just fine. We didn't change anything there. And then we have handle function calls. So now we need if last message. Wait, there was a. Did I get a comment? There was a little. Yeah. Hi, Tommy. It's not cheating in library code. It's cheating in application code. Let's see. So if it's a user, we throw a new. And the reason we throw a new error here is basically because of typing. Like this should never happen. Function calls for user message. But like it would also help us if there was an actual problem in the code, like a race condition of sorts. It would help us. And of course, TypeScript doesn't understand the synchronous nature of map. So now it thinks that, no, it does. No, sorry. Yeah, it does do that here. That's good. This is just a general tsignore thing. Like TypeScript and callbacks can be a hassle. Like you know that certain callbacks are synchronous. So so nothing could have changed between the callback and what's before the callback. But for TypeScript, that callback could be called at any moment in time. There's nothing in the code indicating that it's synchronous or asynchronous. So again, if last message type equals user, we'll throw our cannot add function called delta to a user message, blah, 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 tsignore. And yeah, this is an actual errors. Wonder how this compiled. I think it actually, it's weird because handle function call created, for some reason it doesn't work. Because I noticed that when OpenAI asks for function calls or function call created, that's based on an event. But that event triggers once, even if there are like 2 function calls. So I'm not using this at all. Let's just comment this out. Oh. Whoa. Where is it? Here? And then to prompt an agent, yeah, I think we can also hear if the last message is from a user, I'll throw a new error. Cannot prompt to from agent when last message is Oh, by the way, we actually need to have this check. This is interesting though. Oh, type, I mean. What the hell? Why does it say user message? Why are you saying user message? Come on. Oh, do we do this? Oh, god damn it. If let's just do this. So prompt agent is something we use when an agent sends a message to an agent. It's not very explicit, is it? I think we should do prompt from agent. But it's not really that either. This is like prompt a specific agent, while the other one is prompt the current agent. So it's not really related to... It's not really related to this. It's more to ensure that... Okay, wait, sorry. So if last message... Yeah, and last message, sorry, type equals agent. So this just ensures that we don't... Ooh. When do we say resolved here? I didn't consider the... Oh, are we missing type? Oh, maybe that's what I've been missing on the other ones. Oh. Why are you complaining? Now I'm confused. Why? I think I did something wrong. God damn it. So when an agent prompts an agent, you have a completed message with only text. But I said you have to pass state. Ugh. Ugh, 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 ugh. So this isn't really true. God damn it, why did I do this? I was gonna do something fun, and this isn't fun. Why is this complaining? On type never? So what the hell can be here? Type. Why is it complaining about this? Oh, it's just complaining. Weird. Is it because I'm missing state? Why does it say this? Why does it become never? And stated does not exist on type user. Why do you say user message? What if I say it's an agent? You're also angry. God damn it. Type does not exist on type. Never. But is it because it thinks it can be... I don't like this user message. It makes making things worse. Like having overlapping types like this is never really a good idea. So content can either be string or something else. It doesn't have to be this specific. So here from and to can only be role, but here it can be role or user. Here it can only be user, but here from can only be role. Like it's correct, but I do wonder why we're getting issues with this. Why does it even care about this? And we still have a problem. Like we're resolving a message going from one agent to the other, but there isn't any state there. God damn it. We were at the end of this. What do I think about this? How do I want to approach this? Well, I hate that my arm. Like I would really like a little bit more space. Like how do I do this? Do I do this? But then you kind of see, hello. You see a lot of the other stuff, but I can move the thing. Maybe I should do that. Like I'm gonna move this thing way over here. And then, do you still see me here? Yeah, you still see me. And then I just need a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, now I can do this. This is important. I need to be able to do this. Cool. God damn it. God freaking damn it. What do I want to do with this? Like this type should really fix it. It should really work. I'm not sure why it's complaining here. I think maybe it's because... Yeah, no, I have no idea. Like this can be user message or agent message. I'm just adding a freaking agent message here. What if I do... I wonder what happens if I... Did I remove something here? I did, didn't I? Yeah. So I wonder what happens if I do agent message and then agent message t equals... What does it say now? Is missing the following properties, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it's missing, I guess, state and usage. Usage as usage. I just have to... Is it missing something else? Oh, it's not assignable to type. Okay. Interesting. But the point is, what about these messages going from... You see this? Like, this is a agent talking to an agent, and it doesn't have any usage and it doesn't have any state. But it actually does. I think. No, it kind of doesn't. What is this message? Maybe I shouldn't call it user message. Maybe I should call it prompt. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So let's just keep that. We're gonna call it not user message, but prompt message. So prompt messages doesn't have any async behavior. It's just a prompt message. And it's not necessarily a user, but it only has string content. So this needs to be prompt. And this type needs to be response, I guess. And responses can only come from agents. That makes more sense. Prompt message. Yeah, let's call it prompt message and agent message. Yeah, let's still call this other one agent. Cannot handle for a prompt. Yeah, for a prompt, for a prompt, for a prompt. Did I actually say? So from user or, so this can be from T role. But it can never be to a user. A prompt is always to an agent. But an agent message is always from an agent, but it could be to back to a role, or it could be back to the user. I think this makes sense. So what I'm wondering is if we're not like checking the type here. Yeah, we kind of are. Does this still break? Yeah, this is still like, I wonder what the actual problem here is. Oh, it's such complicated typing. Like, is it missing something? I think it's just because last message. It's kind of weird to me. Anyways, let's just, this is all about the DX. Did I say prompt message up here? For prompt. Prompt for a prompt message. Okay, so we're also gonna go in there and just gonna ignore the hell out of this thing. But the problem is, yes, because now we're saying prompt agent. So now we shouldn't say prompt. We just got, sorry, agent, we're gonna say prompt. And then the text is the prompt. There's no state, there's no usage, there's no status. What's it missing here? What are you complaining about? Is it because I don't have const? From to content. It doesn't have anything else. What the hell are you complaining about? Type from to content. Yeah, this is weird. But this is pending, so it doesn't have any. This is so weird. I don't understand why this typing is breaking. So this is also going to be a prompt. Oh, sorry. Type prompt from user. This is the prompt. And then we have everything we need there. So let's just ignore that thing. And then this has type agent. And you're mad about that for some freaking reason. Okay, let's see how the panel acts now. So we're getting the message in here. Oh, that never is not good. I think this is fine, but we're gonna change chat content to take message. To take message instead. So if message type equals prompt, we're just gonna return message content. Not gonna do any iterations or anything. So this will be children of React Node. It's starting to lag a bit. Let's restart that. So we're gonna switch on yeah, this is good. So we can switch on message from but we need more stuff here because we're gonna iterate now. So we're basically going to return with this. So chat content, let's see, I'm gonna move that up here. I'm gonna give it a message without any key. And then where we used to iterate creating the children. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, but we still need the message status stuff. Is that within the div? Yeah. So if we do this, good. And then we have the children. And then we have the children. And then we need that thing to be there, I think. Oh, fuck. What happened now? What was wrong here now? Message. Am I just missing Oh, wait a minute. So children should include this thing. I think actually what we want to return is, so here we will have the children. And here we'll have this thing. But what the hell is going wrong here? Because this should be part of the loop. I'm so message content. So I think actually we can do message content map and then content, and we can just, here we'll do the, okay. We can even inline this. So here we can return, we're gonna have a child of React node. I don't need a typing here. So we're gonna just move that logic, this whole thing. I'm gonna move that into here. And then message usage. I'm not sure what's happening here. Why does it have, oh, is it because of this thing? Can I just remove it? No, I wasn't happy about that. It seems like, God damn it, do I have to like decouple this? So we have, this thing is okay. And then we have message. Well, we don't have any message usage unless we're completed. So this is basically just a, okay, I think maybe this will work. But this, wait a minute. So we're checking message status pending, and then we're checking, what is this thing? So if it's pending, we add the little things. And then if we have, so this should really be message status equals resolved. Then we have message usage. Or this is null. But what the hell is this thing? This doesn't make any sense. Like, this isn't valid code. Can I look at the diff here? Maybe I'll figure it out. So it used to look like, so we had this duplicate thing. Did it have a check higher up? No. So, oh, message content length. That's the thing we're missing. That's the thing we're missing. So, yeah. Okay, let's put back like the weirdness, because we had like that thing. Or wait, let's so I think if it's pending and message content length, then we show like the little thing. Or if message.status equals pending, we'll show the big thing. So this is just two different loading indications. I think this is fine. I wonder, is this actually running now? Sometimes I like to rerun the watcher just to make sure that we don't have any type issues I didn't know about. Okay, so now we are able to hopefully add a message. So something goes wrong. Completed before resolving. Last message. Completed before. Oh, yeah, I think I know what that is. Because I added this. I removed the resolved. And the reason. Yeah, I don't think that's correct. We shouldn't check resolved because now we're resolving it. Okay. Why the hell didn't it add anything? Handle complete. Like, so even handle message delta, why didn't it do that? Was it a chat panel thing? I think it's just a visual thing. So we have these. Oh yeah, I think I know what it is. It's because we're not. We need this here as well. So we need if content.type equals text, we also just need to return that as markdown. Content.text. So I think it would just refresh here now. Yeah, there we have it. Cool. Suggested successfully. This looks great. Sending it to the engineer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're back in business. Yay! So, to the fun stuff. What we want to do is we are going to change this. So we don't show the user stories as part of, as I said, this is just state. We're not going to show it as part of the response. So let's remove that first. And let's just play with this with the product manager. So we're not gonna. So we're not going to pass anything. Let's just return here. It's really annoying to me that when I have code not running, I still get type errors and then the build fails. It's super annoying. I wish TypeScript didn't do that. Okay, so let's look at the product manager. Generate response. So here you see I'm actually inserting the user stories. So what we're going to do is just return the response here. But now we should have the state available to us in the UI. So let's look at the messages here. How should I do this? So if the message is resolved, we have the state. So I guess we want to kind of insert a child before the markdown. Let's just call it custom. Yeah, custom children or something. I don't know. Let's just call it that. React node. And we're gonna custom children concat. Oh, that's not fun. How are we gonna add that? Should we just, you know what? We're gonna create the children and then we're gonna mutate that array. Crazy people. So if the message status equals resolved, now we should have some state here. And we should be able to look at who it's from. And if it's the product manager, the state should now be typed to, and look at that, suggested user stories. Amazing. So if the message status is resolved and we have a message from the product manager, we are going to prepend with a component here. So we're going to say children shift checklist. Yeah, user stories. That's better. Of course, it's better. But this is good. We actually made it. So we're going to say message state suggested user stories. And we're going to create this component. And it's going to take user stories. This is going to be fun. I promise. String. And it's taking some user stories. And let's just do we have like some Tailwind CSS? Tailwind CSS components. I want some. Let's move my face. I want some checkboxes. By the way, I had to pay for this. Like Tailwind, they're smart people taking other people's money, but they're building amazing stuff, so they definitely deserve it. Checkboxes. Yeah, let's steal this. Well, I'm not stealing it. I paid for it. Goddamn it. Yeah, let's just copy this. Oh, I'm looking at Vue. Let's do React. Return. And then, well, we only need one of them. Which one? Where is it? Items. Is it this one? I think so. Wow, my editor is really starting to lag. I think the typing for this thing is way too complicated. User stories, user story. Key would be index. And then I don't care about this label stuff. Or is this? Yeah, SR only. Like they're so proper with accessibility and stuff, which is great, but I don't have time for that. Cool. So this ID, I don't need IDs or names or anything like that. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, user stories, are they happy? What are you not happy about? Why? Expected 0 arguments? Oh, is it unshift? That's putting at the top. It is. Okay. What if I just refresh now? Yeah, like it's already produced this, but now we have the actual user stories as a checklist. Or we can add a little bit of padding to it. Where are we? User stories. There we are. So let's space P4. That's always nice. Okay. And they're all gonna be checked by default. How are we gonna track this state? So we could map over the user stories. I think we can do that. So checked user stories, set checked user stories state. And we're gonna do use, I guess we can simplify user stories map user story, and then complete yeah, checked true text user story. Now we're gonna map over the checked user stories instead. And then we have checked and text. Now we're gonna use text and checked equals checked. Nice. And we're gonna do another thing, and that is enabled. Enabled is a boolean, and well, I guess disabled is more common. So we're gonna have disabled. It's gonna be disabled if this is not the last message. So disabled would mean, how do I know if it's the last message from this point? Is last message. Let's pass that in as well. You know what? Let me close others. is last message Boolean. By the way, we're going to use the API here. That's the fun stuff. Where is it? Is last message. Is last message would be message equals. Do I have all the messages here? No, I don't have it here either. Ah, god damn it. So where are the is last message index equals messages dot length -1. Cool. So now they should be disabled if yeah, they are, but they're not styled for that. That sucks. So disable. Can't you do stuff like this? Opacity 50, text gray 600, disabled focus ring gray 600, something like that. That didn't work. Why doesn't that work? Oh, they're not being it's not disabled. Why isn't it disabled? Wait, did I say is last message? Oh, is last message. If not is last message. There we go. That's kind of nice. And then what we're gonna do is when you toggle them, we are gonna update on change. What's the value on toggle? Let's just call it on toggle. So this is creates a HTML input element on toggle. Change event HTML input element. I'm not sure what the target value is. Maybe we can search this. It will be fun to see it working immediately. React checkbox value. On change, this toggle change. Oh, it's not even using the. Okay, let's do that then. So we're rather passing in the index on toggle index. And then we're basically going to set checked user stories. I hate this. We're gonna slice. Current slice 0 to index. So this includes the one. We're slicing. So it's -1 because we're gonna now do this current index, and then checked is not current index dot checked, and then we need to keep the rest of them, which would be current slice index, I think. And what we're gonna do is also have has changed, and that would be if any of the checked user stories filter checked user story. So if the checked any of the checked user stories that is not checked, story checked length, and let's wrap it in a boolean. So if it has changed, then we're going to enable this little button that you can click, and then you just prompt it to, I want this stuff instead. Has changed field set. I don't know, can I just shove it in a field set? It should probably be its own thing. So Tailwind, give me a button. Components, elements, or buttons. Code. Which one do we want? The third one? 1, 2, 3. Give me. Update. Let's just do that. That's beautiful. And we should only show this if has changed. And when we click this thing, what we're gonna do, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna say API. Where are you? Didn't I put the API in here? Use editor. There we are. Didn't I? Use editor. There we go. Oh, I put it in the collapse action thing. Chat item, user stories. So we're gonna say API send assistant message. And what we're gonna say is, and we can just say it right here. That's kind of cool. I only want the following user stories. So we're sending that by user stories or checked user stories, filter user story checked, and we'll map user story user story.text, and then we'll join them by making a line break. Okay, so now we're sending to it that only the checked user stories are the ones you want. And now if we close this, well, first of all, that's gone now. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, are we ready for this? I would like. So what's cool about this is that we're exploring how can we combine like text generated responses from AI with state to create custom UX. And here we have the user stories in checkboxes. And when I, oh fuck, oh, it's a fucking slicing. I always make a mistake with slicing. I think this should be -1. God damn it. Probably I can probably just refresh. Let's see. God damn. Fucking slicing. Oh my god. I hate slicing. I hate it. So I'm saying do not include oh, it's +1, I think, not -1. Oh, I can't believe it. I always have to do this. Foo bar boss. And I want to change bar. If I slice and I give it the index 1. So if I do slice, so now, oh, that's a problem. It doesn't include the index. So up to index, keep that. No, it does include the index. No, it doesn't include the index, which is what I want. Wait a minute. No, it doesn't include the index. So I want to slice out. It's so weird. Like I want the end should be the index. You want to be the end, not the next one. Okay, so this should be index. And then I want to keep from index 1. It should be +1. Okay, I think this is how it should work. There we go. Okay, so now instead of me like writing to it, what do I want to keep? I don't want this thing. Update. Cool? That's amazing. That is amazing. And not this disabled. That's pretty cool. Everything we did for the last 1.5 hours was that demo. But thank you for being here. Oh my god. But this is like, it doesn't seem like a huge thing, but I haven't, like I've seen examples interacting with AI responses where you manually, for example, GitHub just launched GitHub Copilot workspaces where you can take an issue and you can ask the AI to generate a suggested PR for it, which is pretty cool. Like we could talk all day about like how well it performs in different complexity levels, but it's very cool. But what it does first is that it creates a plan, and you validate that plan. But you can just go in and edit the plan. Like you can just edit, and you can use Markdown to add stuff to the list, which is nice. But this is taking it a different level, because that's just taking the text output of the plan and editing the text. But this is actually taking the state of user stories, so you can actually create experiences on top of it. I'm just going to close the window, which is pretty amazing. No idea how useful it will be and how much people will actually interact with AIs, with user interfaces, like how autonomous are they? But anyways, it's cool. So what's our next step? I'm gonna commit this. Interact. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, I closed it. Okay, so our next step is to Actually, like I want to get the application back to the state where it's running the development server and we can start playing around with actually doing something. But before we do that, let's look at the, let's try to improve, because I made like very simple prompts for the engineer and the UX engineer. So we have this engineer that I'm just saying you are a senior developer that is an expert on ensuring user stories has enough technical details. Like, what the hell does that mean? So I think we need to be let's talk about this. Like, what do we want this thing to do? Do we just want it to, first of all, should the user be part of this? I don't think the user should be part of this, because the idea with this application is that it's someone who doesn't know how to code. So it should just be this agent, but what does it actually mean? What do I want to achieve? So it's scoped to like Firebase. So one thing is what would an engineer give feedback on user stories? Maybe that doesn't quite make sense, because we're going to run an implementation plan after this where the engineer will actually read files and stuff to figure out what to do. So maybe it's more of a UX engineer you want here. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So we're going to try something. I'm going to just write a task, describe a task, click a button to edit, add the task to a list, see the list of tasks, delete tasks in the list. So we're not going to say anything about the UI, and we're going to actually remove the engineer here. I'm not sure how much value it actually brings. We're just going to use the UX engineer, and then we're going to play with this instead. So you are a front-end engineer who cares deeply about user experience and is an expert on Tailwind CSS. I don't think we need to even do that. Expert on web application user interfaces. Yeah, update them with technical details. Please review these user stories and update them with details about the user experience and user interface. I don't know. What is that like based on? It could be based on, I guess this is the kind of thing where you don't really need embeddings. You kind of need the model to be trained. I think like, yeah, language model is kind of good at this. Because this is very abstract. It's not, we're not at specific technologies yet. Yeah, so let's try this. We're going to pass this to the UX engineer. Yeah, this else if we don't need that. Okay, let's see what it does here. And then we're going to move to implementation plan. So that's going to be interesting. I'm also thinking about like in an experience like this, where you're a person who doesn't know how to code, like there is a process on this, like exploring the user stories, and you might drop out, right? How do you keep the state of these user stories? And another thing and we haven't talked about this, like, what if the user is asking about something that's already there? I think there needs to be, maybe that could be part of like the product manager in this. This is so interesting. So a product manager in real life has knowledge about the product. The product manager doesn't know the code, but it knows what's been implemented. It knows he or she knows the product. So when a user comes and suggests a feature, that product manager knows if that feature exists or not. But in this scenario, the product manager knows absolutely nothing about the application. Like, it's a completely clean slate. The reason the engineers will be able to evaluate this is because engineers can actually read and search the code base. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe the product manager should have a function to search the code. Not because the product manager should know about code, but it's just that's the only way that AI can actually look at the application and have knowledge about the application. Or we would have to like store the actual user stories and implementation plans that's been finalized and use that as an embedding to figure out what has been done. But then it's like, what if you change something? This is very interesting. I have no idea. So let's not try to solve that now. Let's just see what this yeah, the UX engineer does with this. And I want to point out again, we're using GPT 3.5 here, which is definitely not capable by its own and simple prompts to do anything. It's good for language responses, but we're going to try to make it able to actually do things. This looks great. What's also cool here, I can like have a button to like approve. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. Because I hate, I'm writing so much. That's the thing. I think when you have these human AI interactions, you want to avoid writing text as much as possible. At some point, you can have an actual natural conversation with AI. Like, you can talk now, but it's like there's so much latency, it doesn't feel natural at all. Where are we? We're gonna make that button green. So let's just add, I guess class name, like flex or something. Disabled. So let's just do, oops. This looks great. It's so funny. Like, this is a funny thing about like developing with AIs. It's like when you normally work as an engineer, you would actually like pass in true or false. But now you pass in, this looks great, or thumbs up, or like you can be super creative about this stuff. Let's do green. Approve. And I guess like this is kind of, it's missing. Let's see, does it have disabled state? Boop. No, it doesn't. Yeah, and then the question is, when you click this, do you really... Yeah, and what we're gonna do, oh, this is interesting. So now we're gonna actually check the feedback. So you see, this is kind of weird that we're showing the user stories again. So what we're gonna do, we can check the state of this. And message state.feedback equals, well, not equals, make no changes. Make no changes means that it's like it's seen that you want these user stories basically. So now it just this looks great. User stories will be passed to an engineer. Cool. This is also kind of weird though. I think what we could do is like pass in a Boolean. So when we prompt, you can choose if the message should be part of the history or not. But anyways, let's just keep it there. So what do you think? What does it say? As a user, I want to be able to describe a task using a user-friendly input form with clear labeling and guidance so that I can keep track of what needs to be done effectively. As a user, I want to be able to visually add a task to a list by clicking on a prominent add task button that triggers a smooth transition to an input field for entering task details, enhancing the organization of my task. This is very fluffy stuff. As a user, I want to view the list of tasks in a clean and structured layout that provides clear visibility of task titles and relevant information, ensure that I can easily identify what I need to prioritize. Again, very fluffy, but user stories are kind of fluffy. As a user, I want a straightforward option to delete tasks from the list by incorporating a delete button, but it does populate the UI, right? It says, I want an input, I want a button. This is exactly what we wanted. And it even says things like confirmation prompt, which is great. And we take, as engineers, we take this for granted, but we really have to put ourselves in the position of a user who doesn't know how to code at all. So what we're going to do now, we're going to introduce a new flow. And we're going to call this flow like create implementation plan or something. And we're going to add that flow. And now we get into the challenge of well, maybe we don't need to introduce a new flow. We can just keep adding agents here. We can just keep adding agents. Because it's more of a typing and UI thing with these flows. If we create a new flow, we also need to think about how do you move from one flow to another type of thing. Oh, what happened? It is interesting though. It would be nice to kind of highlight what flow we are in, or yeah, I guess that's the term. What flow we are in. This really annoys me. We shouldn't make that disabled. Let's steal it from the input. And does it also have hover? So I'm just putting it there for now. Hover. Focus visible. Gray. Gray. Oh, look at that. Probably shouldn't have any hover. I don't care. Let's add like opacity. That helps. Disable opacity. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if like yeah, I think the question is like now I'm getting into details here, but like if you uncheck something, does that mean that you also approve it? Or does it mean that no, just make a change? I don't know. What were we doing? We're going to create an implementation plan. So we're going to create a tech lead role, and that tech lead is going to write out the implementation plan based on the user stories. And then we're going to have an engineer that's like an expert in. So the thing that we haven't talked about at all here is like persistence. So I'm kind of thinking about like the scope of this application is that we're using Firebase, Vue, and Tailwind CSS. That's all the technology you will be using. And I do wonder if we should be explicit about that during user stories as well. So you kind of, as a UX engineer, I don't think it needs to know specifically about Tailwind CSS because it's more about like HTML. Interaction points. There's nothing Tailwind CSS does specifically. But when it comes to Firebase, like, is the feature request, does it include information about persistence and storage and authentication and yeah, I'm very curious about that. Or is that something you would... No, the user isn't asking about. Just do what the user is asking for. And then you do more iterations. So if the user does this and it works, and then it doesn't say anything about... Well, yeah, so this is the thing. Like, now I'm not really asking about very specific engineering stuff. It's very HTML kind of thing. So the UX engineer populates relevant information for that. But what if I said I wanted to persist this in a database, or I wanted to authenticate and store them behind my authentication? Now the UX engineer wouldn't really be able to help with that. So maybe we're going to try this. We're going to bring back the engineer. And we're going to say that the engineer, again, the scope here is that you can only use Firebase. And I think this is one of the things I'm very curious about. It's like, if we're going to allow people to build stuff without having any tech knowledge, like the AI could do anything. Like, there's a million different ways to persist something. Yeah, I'm very curious about that. I think AI's first and foremost will be able to help us change existing code, but it can't make like these kinds of choices. Like, there has to be... Like, how would an AI even know that Firebase, Vue, and Tailwind CSS is like a good... Maybe it can know that. well, it's of course based on like articles and stuff from humans, but and historically, like, I guess that's the biggest problem. It's like it's the language and its knowledge is based on stale information. It's like from 2023, and technology moves so freaking fast that it will never like properly keep up with things, at least based on its training data. Yeah, I don't know. Description, you are a full stack engineer. Yeah, let's call it who identifies need for persistence, authentication, and other relevant Firebase features in user stories. Functions, no functions for now. State, it will be the same. Let's just copy this. Please review it and update them with details about update them with details about yeah, I guess need for persistence, authentication, or other Firebase related features. Yeah, I'm curious what it's gonna say here. Okay, let's bring back the engineer. And I do think we should ask that one first. Engineer, and then else if agent role equals engineer, and yeah, I guess we can like look at the length of this. It should always be a length, but then we'll prompt UX engineer, updated user stories. Okay, let's see what it says now. And this is the iteration on building this is exceptionally slow, which I'm also very curious about. Like, I have no idea how much value having like an API like this has in real life, especially when AI comes is part of the operating system. So this is the thing that's going to happen next year. Is that we're going to get AI in the operating system, which means that it can really do anything. Or it has the potential to do anything for us. So then you can ask the question like, why build these AIs when a user can just prompt their OS and say, build me a task management app. And it will just ask, where do you want to store it? In this folder. And it has access to the terminal. It can install any dependencies. It can look, that's the thing. It can literally look at anything. It can look at the output of the terminal. It can look at your browser. Like, it can do anything. So I kind of have a feeling that that's what we mean when we say AGI, artificial general intelligence. Is not how intelligent it is to reason about your request. It's what it has access to do. And if it has access to a complete operating system, and it can look at the operating, like what's on the screen, it can really do anything. Navigate the web, using terminals, writing code, anything. So I have, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there is still room for specific AI user experiences like this. I really don't know. But that doesn't mean it isn't fun exploring. So we're gonna keep exploring. Like, what's the end? There is some kind of end game with this. And it could be that, oh no, we'll just put AI in the tools that humans have access to, which are operating systems. And they will just understand anything, and anything a human can do with an operating system, the AI can do. Faster and better. That's an end game. And that's not super fun to think about as like an engineer. But there is a different way to think about it, and that is what we're kind of doing here. We're building actual experiences with AIs. We're making them smarter by combining them in ways that make sense for different workflows, creating actual interfaces for human beings to interact with these AIs. That's the world I hope we're moving towards for my own sake. Or it's gonna kill us all. So let's see what it. Oh yeah, so ChatGPT or GPT 3.5 has some issues. Invalid state to update text. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, interesting. So this is the completed. Wait a minute. What do you think of the following? Invalid state to update text. Why? I wasn't paying attention. So the engineer gets that thing. There's a response. Yeah, let's read about it. As a user, I want to be able to describe this, okay, and have it persist in Firebase Firestore for data storage. Okay, so this is interesting. And again, the scope of this application is that you're going to build. Yeah, and you can argue even that, like, why the hell would you want to help people create applications for other humans when everyone's just using AI anyways? Like, anyways, we're doing this for fun. And then, yeah, so this is nice. That is, yeah. So that the point is that you should be able to be very ambiguous. You shouldn't even be explicit about persistence. It's given that you're using this app, you want to build up something that can be shared with others, and deployed to the web, and so on and so on. So it's just given that you want the database. As user, I want to be able to add this with Firebase authentication to ensure secure access and data management. This is super nice. As user, I want to be able to see the last retrieve from Firebase Firestore to display the latest data. As user, I want to be able to delete tasks from the list with Firebase Real-Time. Come on. Firebase Firestore, Firebase Real-Time Database. Isn't that like a different product? Do they have? Yeah. So even this, right? Again, it's GPT 3.5. But Firestore is real time. So I think, yeah, why do they even have these two? Like, isn't this legacy? Compare databases. Preferred. What does this mean? It can be useful to know when the client Firebase can record client connections and provide it. Oh yeah, interesting. But it says, yeah, preferred. Yeah, you know what? Let's just change the prompt. This is so interesting. So This is also the thing. Like, what if you have, yeah, like, doesn't AI know? I guess it does. Like, if it's able to read the documentation of Firebase and it sees that Firestore is preferred, would easily reason about that. Yeah. Anyways, your full second need for Firestore persistence, authentication, and other relevant except real time. Yeah, Firestore persistence. Need for Firestore persistence. Anyways, doesn't matter. We need to figure out why it failed. So it does this, update the user. What do you think of this? So we're passing in this to the UX engineer. And then it just failed. It just says that an invalid state to update text. I wonder what it was. A message delta. Handle message delta, handle message delta. So somewhere it says that the last content type so what did it have? So it had this thing, so it definitely had. So the only thing I can think of, the last content type was text. Oh wait, sorry, this is a new message. It's almost like something else got in between there. Agent prompt UX engineer, prompt your front-end engineer. Why? So it doesn't have any last content. That message. So if no last content, so that should be the case. No last content. Because it's pending. I'm very curious about this. I guess we'll be able to. Yeah, let's not here, but if the error occurs again, console.log last message and last content. That was weird. Anyways, let us go in, open project folder. Yeah, good. So it talks about some Firestore database, Firestore for persistence. Yeah. Okay, it seems to be a hiccup from OpenAI. Okay, so let's see what the final user stories are. As a user, I want to be able to describe tasks in a user-friendly interface and have it visually represented. Stored in Firestore for persistence so that I can easily keep track of what needs to be done securely. So users, I want to be able to add a task to a visually appealing list with intuitive input fields and feedback message integrated with authentication features such as Firebase authentication, ensuring a seamless user experience where only authorized users can organize tasks. This is pretty amazing. Like if you think about a user that just says this, and you get all of this stuff. As a user, I want to be able to see a list, tasks, clean, and organized layout with real-time updates fetched from Firestore, providing visually engaging and up-to-date tasks that enhance the user experience and efficiency. As a user, I want, but all these words might seem fluffy, but for an AI, it's priming it. It really is priming it. Like using these kinds of words, like efficiency, like you just saying you are amazing, just makes it more amazing. Funny enough. I want to be able to lead with user-friendly that triggers fires or fires in the background, maintaining data consistency while offering a smooth and intuitive way to wait. Okay, now it's going to be super interesting to see how this actually results in an implementation plan. So we are, for simplicity's sake, we're going to just keep adding agents here. So we're going to add a tech lead. And this tech lead is going to get some functions to read the project structure and suggest a plan. And then we need another engineer to review that plan. And we also need, I'm not quite sure how to do that. Like, would we want an actual, should we talk any more about the specifics of the UI? Or would that be like a second iteration? So you do the implementation first, and then you do another round of implementation, which is basically making the UI good. Because you can, technically, you can reference things like method names, file paths, and stuff like that. It would be kind of weird in the implementation plan to have like Tailwind CSS class names, or what I think would make more sense is that you have a catalog of different components which you can reference in an implementation plan. So you can say use this button with this variant, for example. That would make a lot of sense. But maybe that would be fun to go in and explore next, like the embeddings. How would you provide as specific information as possible using embeddings? Anyways, role is tech. You know what? I think for now we're just gonna add this tech lead and see what it does when we ask it to create an implementation plan and have access to file system and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna see what it does. And then I think I'm gonna take a break. Like I actually have my days off on Fridays at the moment. So I should spend that time lying on the couch playing games as well. So I'm gonna make sure I do that. You are an amazing tech lead. Who writes, who is an expert in writing implementation plans. Technical plans that engineers can execute on. And your functions, we're going to write those. The model is going to still be GPT 3.5 Turbo. The state is going to be very similar to, let's just copy this. It's going to be very similar. It's just going to be an implementation plan instead of, oh, did I? So implementation plan. implementation step, the list of implementation steps in a plan. Please review these user stories and create an implementation plan that engineers can execute on. And let's just write out the implementation plan for now. So again, this could be a set of not necessarily checkboxes, but it could still be like a UI where you have approval and stuff like that. But for now, it's just fun to see what it produces. So let's add the tech lead. Let's go in and do a check on this, else if agent role equals tech lead. Sorry, UX engineer. And, or did we? Yeah, UX engineer and agent.state.length. And we're just going to prompt the tech lead. Please create an implementation plan from these user stories. Cool. So this is gonna be exciting. Oh, wait, we forgot about functions. So what this tech lead is gonna be able to do is read file. I actually had these. Do I still have them somewhere? I removed them. Okay. So we already have some functions for this. Path is a string path to file, and we need the path and read the contents of a file. And then we also have something called func get project overview. Was that the thing? What are the functions? Oh, what's this? This is old stuff. So we have agent functions, get project, no. Oh, I think we actually just have it right here, switch. Here we have them. Get project file paths. That's the, so get project file paths, it doesn't have any, gives all the file paths in the project, returns. And then we could also allow it to read the directory, but I don't think we actually need that. So let's just allow it to get project file paths and read files. So now it has these functions. Funny enough, we just have to describe them. But now we have to go in and actually implement them. So whenever the AI asks to handle a function call, we have to go in here and we have to say tech lead, function name, get project. Oh yeah, maybe we can just remove this and do a case of engineer instead, or tech lead. And there's no conversation status anymore. Oh, we also have search code. That's an important one. And redirectory, I don't think we need that one. So let's implement search code. I think we use query, which is a string. Relevant to find related code or something, and you need to have that query, and then query. Oops, what happened? Query the code. Oh my god. the code base for relevant files. File paths. So you only get the file paths. It doesn't actually give you the code. And the reason is that this was kind of intended to, like, you have to read the file to be able to change the code. You can't change code just without knowing what's in the file. So it always needs to read the file. So the idea is that you search a code and find any relevant files, and then you actually read the file. Cool. And I also have function calling in here, which I've removed, but we can put that back in here. Where is it? So message from, so here we have it. Case engineer, search code. Now we can remove, let's just remove. Do we have, yeah, collapsible action. Let's just keep that stuff. Like, I have a lot of stuff here. Let's keep this. So let's comment that out. Yeah, let's drop read directory. And then we have okay, now I think we'll actually see the function calling as well. Oh, I did something wrong. Is it correct now? Yeah, now it's correct. Okay, so let us try this. Approve. Asking the engineer about user stories, asking the UX engineer about those user stories. And now it's passing it to the tech lead. It's kind of annoying how it puts like the one. Oh, okay, this is interesting. As a user, I want to be able to describe tasks in a user-friendly interface, enabling a seamless addition to a list stored in Firestore persistence. Design and implement a user-friendly interface for task description input. That's a great task. Integrate Firestore for storing tasks. So this is where it's really going to stumble if I were to execute on this. It didn't actually search anything. Maybe we should try to prompt it to actually get an overview. But the idea is really that you have an engineer. So the tech lead typically doesn't know. A tech lead has a lot of experience and insight into the code, but it doesn't have any specifics. So it would make sense to have some initial implementation tasks, and then you would flesh them out just like we did with the user stories, where you have an engineer that is tasked specifically to go and find the relevant files and put them into the plan. But develop a visually appealing UI components for adding tasks to the list. Implement Firebase authentication for smooth user authentication. Yeah, design and integrate Firebase Firestore for real-time updates and responsive user. Create intuitive interaction for deleting tasks. So this is also exceptionally fluffy, right? But I want to argue that from what we had here, we couldn't get this without this. Because the whole point of user stories is to flesh out how the app should work, and then you have the implementation plan, which is like all the technical details. And at the end of the day, when it actually executes on the implementation, I do think, I wonder how valuable it is to give both the user stories and the implementation plan. That's going to be interesting. But yeah. Okay, we're going to do one more thing before I quit. We're going to add another agent that's going to so we have an engineer. We just have to call it something else. So the tech lead is going to give this plan. It's really annoying that when you say plan, it just will add these numbers. You just don't get past it for some reason. But I don't care. But let's now not put these functions here. We're going to put this in this new agent. So that would be so it would still be an engineer. Let's just call it engineer 2. Great agent. I'm lazy. Engineer 2. And you are an engineer. You are an amazing engineer that knows that is an expert identifying what files are affected by an implementation plan. And you have the following functions to help you figure that out. And then let's just do the same kind of thing here. So you would have an updated implementation plan, updated implementation steps. Let's just put that in the response. Please review this implementation plan and ensure to update it with relevant files. With relevant files, file paths, where change and what changes needs to be made in them. That was bad English, but okay. So now we have our second engineer. And that engineer, and again, I have to point out, it's GPT 3.5. It's not like an amazing model we're using here. So else if agent dot role equals engineer or tech lead, and agent dot state implementation plan length and let's do something similar. So this will be engineer 2. Please update the implementation plan. Please update the implementation plan. Or this is the implementation plan. Cool. Let's drop it like it's hot. And let's see what happens now. Okay, approve. Yeah, one thing we haven't added to these are temperature. We should add temperature as well. It has to do with how random they are. So you want like, I'm not sure if you want a high or low temperature. God damn it, did it fail? Ah, what did I do? Missing required parameter. Okay, so there's some, oh, it's the function calling. What did I do? Oh. Yeah, whatever. Oh, we haven't, god damn it. So it didn't actually save the changes. So that's why it didn't do it. So this is a problem I have. There is this hack. Where is it? Where did I put it? Simplify. Yeah. So it like extract object is oh, doesn't this work? Oh, sorry. Extract object. What was I saying? So extract object could have object in properties, could have object in those properties, those properties, those properties. But that never really happens. So it's just worried about the inference of this, but it's not an actual problem. And then there's a trick to use simplify. I'm not sure where to put it. Does that help? No, that didn't help. I thought I could do it on... can I do this? Simplify the whole thing? Why can't I do it on the actual... Oh, this sucks. Oh. What's the problem here? Oh, was it actually fixed? No, it isn't fixed. It's just, yeah. Oh. I wonder how to deal with this. Like, I think what we need to do is we can't have recursive typing for this. We just need to like go to a certain level, which kind of sucks. But what we can do, at least for now, is to just TS ignore this, and then that's something we would have to do. Because you don't have infinite JSON schemas, right? Maybe there's a better way to create that typing. It probably is. But it's annoying. But it's a good sign that it actually tried. God damn it. That it actually tried to call some functions to figure out the code. Electron. Boop. Boop. I wonder what happens here. I think maybe it's related to the embeddings or something. Because I'm running the embeddings every time I open the workspace. I should optimize that as well. What were we doing? I was going to check something. I can't remember. And the thing is, like, we're exposing a lot of stuff now in the UI. Like, we're streaming the JSON response and all of that stuff. But maybe there are only certain things that you really want to show. And we could have a button here where we kind of... You can hide messages that are from an agent to an agent, for example. But now we need to see all the verbosity. Still not working. Ah, god damn it. Requirement tool outputs. It doesn't generate an output. So there's some function call happening here. Did I add? No. Let's just look at what the function call is. Console.log function call. Oops. Get to work. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so what is the function call that's failing? Engineer to get project file paths. Oh, I'm looking at tech lead. Why is tech lead getting... That's funny. Why is this? Oh, it's a typing issue. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Oh, what? I think that was actually the problem. It's when you yeah, that's the problem. So we can sorry, I've seen this before. So the simplify thing doesn't matter. It's when you're pointing to invalid stuff. But I think I can fix the typing there so it doesn't do this. Okay, now we should have... Oops. And the point is, like, I don't know, if you get to a point where you can just prompt as ambiguous as this, and then you have, like, from that prompt you get a complete implementation, that's cool. But wait, is it still failing? No, it's actually doing stuff. Oh, it's not showing the function calls. Okay, so what did it do? Design and implement visually appealing input form with proper UI UX and given user files affected index HTML. That's not really true. It's a Vue project. What is it actually reading now? Yeah, it's reading this thing. So that's another thing. It's like it has access to... What did it actually do? It got an overview of the files, right? But yeah, I haven't prompted them about this being a Vue project, but still, integrate Firestore, files affected, Firestore rules, changes. Oh, interesting. Implement styling for the input form. Yeah, so they're not prompt. This engineer isn't prompt about Tailwind CSS or Vue for that matter. So it makes sense that index CSS and index HTML, but like, I wonder what does this mean? Like, how would an AI understand. I guess it's the, like, if it was actually, it had the full code base in its context window, it would be able to infer a lot more. So I've been also reflecting on that here. Like, what if we, like here, I'm not clearing out the context window. Oh, you see this? Oh, that's interesting. Wow, what function calls did it make? Did it actually read something? Oh, it did search code. Oh, it did a lot of search code. Search code embeddings. I wonder what code embeddings, what do they return? This is what I don't understand. When searching code, it just blows up on the inputs, and not that much stuff coming back, right? Like, how did it jump from a token size of 2,000 to 22,000? It doesn't make any sense. Because these paths are very, very simple. And I'm saying that it should only return 2 items. But the point is, I do have the ability to clear the context window, and that's kind of the plan as well. Is to clear the context window and control the context. So this person, this engineer, only needed to know about the current state of the implementation plan, and then we could fill up the context with all the code in the project, for example. And maybe this is something that should just fundamentally be there. I don't know how many tokens that is. Well, it of course depends on the code, but I wonder how, I guess my question is, I wonder how much it affects their reasoning. I don't understand how any AI can really do anything without knowing all the code. Anyways, let's just read this. Firestore changes integrate Firestore for data storage and update Firestore rules for data handling. Like, it's exceptionally generic. But I think here it completely lost its context window, because the context window of GPT 3.5 is 16,000 tokens, which is just too little at this point. And it's probably brought along a lot of context. This is the assistance API, so it brings a lot of context from the others, but still, I just want to look at the response of this. There's something weird going on. Embeddings. Result. And let me just await that result. So weird. Because it is really, when I do function calling, that it just completely blows up in tokens. And it's not the functions themselves, even though they are part of the input, like the JSON schema, like it's the response, I think. Anyways, develop the authentication flow using Firebase authentication, files, effective Firebase app, Firestore rules, changes, implement Firebase authentication for, yeah, it's exceptionally generic. And just like it says authentication, what does that mean? Google, Facebook, GitHub? Like, how can it? That's also a thing I wonder about. Like, how does it know when to ask the user about additional information? And what if it's implementing, and in the implementation, it goes and like figures out how to implement authentication, and then it finds, oh, I have to make a choice here. But the user isn't involved anymore. Like, there's so many, like, yeah. Anyways, design and implement clear to user the process user to authenticate before accessing the files affected, non-specified. But yeah, this is for task retrieval. This is very interesting. And then the question is, the implementation, should it do it in steps? So you just pass this step, and then you have some agents working on that. Then you, when they're done, you pass this step. But then they might lose context. Like one step might be related to a different step. I'm not sure how that would work. Blah, blah, blah. Implement interactive elements such as buttons or swipe gestures to enable users to easily delete tasks from the list stored in Firestore. Files affected. Yeah, this is very generic. I'm not sure what I would expect here. But yeah, I'm very curious to play around with this. And what I was thinking is that instead of like going through all of this, we'll just copy like, okay, this is a good user story thing. And then we go straight to the implementation workflow or implementation plan workflow. But I'm very curious why the number of tokens just completely blows up. There we go. And maybe they're just adding fluff. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I wonder why the function calls aren't showing. Vue.js components in main. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, let's look at the function calls. Did it blow up again? Kinda. Yeah, these are the embeddings. Like, it's very simple stuff. And it doesn't call read file on anything, does it? Get project file paths. Okay, it did that as well. So it's, but why was that other one so freaking huge? Yeah, I don't know. What should be the next step? What did it actually? But yeah, it was pretty shitty. Implement a visually appealing and and intuitive task description. Yeah, so it's kind of losing. Configure tailwind CSS settings in post and update for the visually appealing. Like, why? Is it because it's, I wonder if it's because it doesn't really go and grab like the initial view component. It doesn't find it. It is here in the full overview though. Get project file paths. There you have everything. So what I like to do at the end of these sessions is like just shove GPT-4 in there, just to see what happens. But it's so freaking expensive. How much money do I have? Okay. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna run the same flow and we're gonna use GPT-4 and then we're gonna see what the result is. GPT 3.5 Turbo. Replace that with GPT-4 Turbo Preview. Okay, it's already like adding more to the like delete button, blah blah blah. So you want to describe task and have saved in Fireside. I can remember what I need to do. Okay, let's just look at the end result of this. We see it's getting way more expensive. No, it shouldn't get way more expensive. Yeah, so yeah, we're seeing here already like the tech lead doesn't know anything about the project, which is not ideal. It says set up Firebase project and enable Firestore and Firebase authentication. Multiple authentication methods. Okay. Set up enable Firestore and Firebase authentication, including from update. Share file are correctly set. Design a responsive form using tailwind for tasks and here to assess for seamless update for custom styles. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Implement Vue.js components for a task form, task list, and authentication screens utilizing Vue's reactivity system for real time. Create a new files under components directory. Write Vuex store actions and mutations for adding, displaying, and deleting. But now it suddenly needs Vuex. It doesn't say anything about installing that. Yeah, I'm not very excited about this, to be honest. but it's creating this without much knowledge. That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, what's the result of the set of Firebase project and the why the hell did it go and talk about Vuex here? Real time to implement instant saving of task description and perform submission and real time fetching for a task, create visually appealing submit and delete buttons. Confirmation like this is, I think this is pretty good. Why is this? Oh, this is the tech lead. Oh, I have the wrong thing here. Sorry. This is the sorry, this is the user stories. As a user, I want to describe a task by entering details into a responsive form and have it instantly saved in Firestorm, ensuring seamless experience. That's a great user story. As a user, I want to add a describe task to my task list by clicking a visually appealing submit button and have the task dynamically appear in the list without refreshing the page, ensuring my tasks are stored in Firestore and synced across all my devices with an intuitive interface. Also good. As a user, I want to see a list of all my described tasks fetched from Firestore in a visually organized manner, allowing me to easily interact with my planned tasks and observe the list being updated in real time across all devices with smooth transitions and animations. As a user, I want to have the ability to delete a task from my list by clicking a delete button next to the task. So I want to sign in using Firebase authentication through a user-friendly login screen that supports multiple authentication methods. Upon successful authentication, like, how would it pick up this? Like, how would any AI pick up this? Ensuring that it asks you what authentication methods it should be. Maybe it's the prompting. Like, there should be no ambiguity. And I haven't played around with temperature either. But I wonder how expensive creating the user stories were. So 2, 4, well, I guess 3, 5, 6. That's actually not that bad. So that's like 0.06 cents or dollars. Is that 6 cents? I don't know how to create such a detailed user stories. That's pretty good, I think. But then it's the implementation plan. But yeah, okay. So that was interesting. Let's go back to GPT 3.5, and we're going to say we're quite happy with creating the user stories. There's still ambiguity in it. Like, for example, with the authentication, maybe by reducing the temperature, let's see. Add temperature. Make user stories less ambiguous. And then add all the code of the project to tech lead, etc. Because it's like not that many tokens. Like, there's nothing really in here now. So we can count it. So OpenAI token counter. So this is like 21 tokens plus 34 tokens plus. Oh, that's interesting. That's old stuff. Like, this is not many tokens. 15 tokens. This one, 35 tokens, like under 200 relevant tokens. So that's also a thing. When it gets a list of all the files, it's like configuration and all the things, but it could also, we could just put the actual implementation, like the source files, right in the context, because that's the only really relevant stuff for implementation. Well, not in a real app, but at least for what we're doing here. Oh well. Anyways, that's enough for today. I need to play some games and then reflect a little bit, and then we'll look at this more later. Cool.